Hi, you're watching GLOBALink. I'm Dong Xiuzhu at CNC headquarters in Beijing. Today, I'm very delighted to be joined virtually by Dr. Bruno Oberle, Director General of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or IUCN. Dr. Oberle, welcome to our show.
Thank you both. Good evening, Ms. Dong.
Thank you for joining us from Switzerland. Well, it's said that you took up the post at IUCN at a time when redefining our relationship with nature is more urgent than ever. So what do you think are the main challenges that the global community need to address in synergy to preserve nature and biological diversity?
Both crises are global. Both crises requires big transformation of our societies and our economies. Both crises are rooted in the way we produce and consume today. And both crises are linked to each other. We cannot solve the one without solving the other one. Biodiversity can help mitigating the impact of climate change. It can absorb CO2. Climate changes are one of the causes of the losses of biodiversity and species that we are observing around the world.
The UN Biodiversity Conference COP15 is to open in Kunming, southwest China's Yunnan province. What do you think is the significance of the conference in finding solutions to the challenges you mentioned?
This year, it's a particularly important one, COP, because the framework, the program of all action that have to be taken have to be agreed. This COP is meeting in China, in Kunming. It will then have a second phase next year in April, and in between the technician will have the opportunity to finalize the text. IUCN is supporting all of this work with our technical expertise, with our data, with through our members, and we have clear ideas what this COP have to deliver. We would like to see strong decision in protection. We would like a decision that says 30% of the planet protected by 2030 at the right places, protected in the right ways, protecting also the rights of the local communities and of the indigenous peoples. And so the second pillar of this work is a strong engagement in restoration and recreation of ecosystem and species. And of course, the third element, like every time, it's money, because to make these two things happening, we need investment. We need investment at the global scale.
And we've learned that you are one of the panelists for the discussion of promoting synergistic action for biodiversity, climate, land, and oceans. So what's the gist of your propositions?
As we have seen before, the two crises are linked. They are rooted in the structure of our economies, in the way we are developing. We know how to create growth, jobs, wealth, for everyone on the planet, at the same time respecting the boundaries that the planet is giving us. These need new products, these need new services, these needs new investments. We need to invest in a complete different way our money, so we need a different financial industry. It is, on one side, a huge task for humanity. On the other side, is an exciting opportunity for everyone, because creating a new economic structure means a lot of opportunity for growth and for development. We have to steer carefully our societies and our economies in that direction.
Yes, and speaking of Yunnan, I believe many will be reminded of the migration of those wild Asian elephants earlier this year. So, since China joined the IUCN as a state member in 1996, have there been other touching stories or successful programs that bespeak China has walked the talk in preserving nature and biodiversity?
China is leading and opening the way in several ways. China is playing an increasing important role on the climate protection side with thoughtful and ambitious objective in decarbonizing. For example, the protection plan for the giant panda. This project to protect the giant panda was very successful. And is very well taught and very well implemented. Another example that I would like to make, it is a more recent one. It is the way in which the Chinese government has uptaken a concept that IUCN has developed, nature-based solutions. This means if you have a problem, there are many ways to solve the same problem, maybe even in a cheaper way, with nature. Think, for example, at protecting villages from floods or avalanches in the mountains. You can let grow a forest, and we have developed together with the Chinese government the Chinese concept of this standard on the nature-based solutions, and this is supported by a number of examples of successful implementation of nature-based principles in China.
Building on the past achievements, how can IUCN-China partnership further contribute to the world? And from perspective of the IUCN, how can China's proposals and experience help to advance the cause of nature conservation and biodiversity preservation?
Inside IUCN, China is playing a bigger role. China has the third biggest delegation of members in IUCN. With more than 50 members, 500 esteemed researchers and academicians from China are working in the different technical commissions of IUCN and contribute through that to the global outreach of the science and data outreach of the Union. And China, being the president of the COP and of the CBD, will have the role to open the road with ambitious decision, ambitious behaviors to support others to take the same behavior.
Thank you for sharing that. And that is Dr. Bruno Oberle, Director General of the International Union for Conservation of Nature. And thanks for watching. See you next time.